Hello, and welcome back to Minotaur Hotel, where, we just started Chapter 9, I think. It's something like that. 10 guests have settled in by the end of the day. The hitchhiking couple, they had been backpacking through Eastern Europe before being pulled into the hotel, who will stay a day or two before proceeding with their journey. A duo of blue-collared workers from South America who seem to have stumbled on a roadblock on their work trip and are now waiting a few days for supplies to arrive. A gang of 4 college-age students from the Middle East whose car broke down in the middle of nowhere, being pulled into the hotel, spared them from a night shivering in the cold. And Lucas Walker, the overeager griffin, to put it lightly. Luke learned a lesson in modesty and put on more clothes, and now he's whipping up as expected. A traditional all-American meal to satisfy his hungry guests, a big batch of burgers. You watch the griffin work with practiced ease, despite the position's novelty to him. He's used to cooking for a group, if the speed at which he shapes the minced meat in his talons is any indication. In no time at all, he's amassed a huge pile of patties, whose sizzling soon suffuses? Okay. The lounge with the scent of browning beef. Even so, he seems to have made quite the quantity. Each guest could eat 2 or 3 burgers apiece, and there would still be half a dozen left over. Putting each burger in its bun is a simple matter once they're done. But no amount of self-control can stop you from covering your mouth as you see Luke start on the toppings. Rather than summoning slices of cheese to hand, his mind allows familiarity to overtake efficiency. Each bright orange square of pasteurized processed cheese product is individually wrapped in disposable packaging. By the time he's got all the burgers covered, he's standing in a pile of plastic that crunches underfoot like crisp aluminum leaves. Autumn leaves. What am I? Things just keep snowballing out of control from there. For sauce, he mixes mayonnaise and tomato ketchup, following a healthy dollop, okay, of nacho cheese and a layer of freshly ground tortilla crumbles. The caloric content of the burger just keeps skyrocketing as the griffin goes, to the point that frying the the top of the bun in lard and soaking it with bacon bits is par for the course of this impending heart attack of a burger. You can leave your arteries. You can feel your arteries clogging just looking at it. You watch them from a table a few meters away from the bar. Tonight's meal is simple. For such a large hotel, it would be deemed underwhelming. But with everyone huddled together, it's like being in a polite family dinner where no relative makes a fool out of himself. The griffin is giddy as he surveys his handiwork. The growing look of abject horror on a number of guests' faces do not register in his eyes. He's so focused is he on crafting his masterpiece. However, as he starts towards them, his expression changes to one of puzzlement, and then a revelation. Well, I'll be a yankle-doodle dumbass. I forgot the fries! Luke's hands become a blur of motion as he sets to work, humming and bouncing along to a tune in his head. Without missing beat, he pours the bacon grease into a pan and sets to work on his side dish while the oil warms up. However, in true American fashion, a side dish isn't just a side dish. It may as well be another meal in itself. He throws more ground beef in a separate pot and tosses it in spices and seasoning, faster than the eye can see. Cayenne pepper, chili powder, cumin, and paprika all enter the mix one after another. Salt, however, proves troublesome. For some reason, the hotel won't materialize it, forcing Luke to go in the pantry instead. Once the meat has browned, he reaches for some veggies, and for a brief moment, you allow yourself to hope that their inherent nutritional value will somehow balance out whatever it is he's about to do to them. You almost forgot the need to salute. That's it. That lone brave onion, the brigade of bell peppers and beans, and the cavalry of chipotles and other chili peppers that join the scrambled beef before they're all drowned in a sea of tomato paste. With the chili simmer, while the chili simmers, Luca Julian's? Huh. That one I really don't know. I do. Or maybe. No. Yes?
Julianne. Julianne.
Okay. A portion of food cut into short, thin strips. Cut food into short, thin strips. Okay.
Julianne.
Julian? Okay. Okay. Luke juliennes potatoes and dunks them in the boiling oil with a satisfying sizzle. Then amasses them into a pile of golden brown crispy fries. Dividing the heap into a few large baskets, the Griffin ladles the chili in, and then sprinkles a generous helping of shredded cheese, sour cream, and a chopped green onion on top. As he flounces his way towards the guests, is still dancing to the erotic, inaudible beat. You can only thank your lucky stars that he opted not to saunter out wearing his signature thong. Soup's on! Once the food has been delivered, Luke eases into the background, content with the job well done. His face takes a look of childlike innocence as he leans on the counter and watches the clientele, despite the mounting tension. A few of the guests stare into the abyss of calories that follows the Griffin's wake, as though expecting it to stare back. Each one must make their peace with the fact that that their taste buds will be forever changed by the insight that the culinary madman is about to impart. One, a Middle Eastern student, clutches a small silver pendant in her chest in hope that it will deflect whatever dark sorcery of American culture hegemony the chef was wrought into the cuisine, to no avail. Another, the Frenchman accompanying Greta, approaches Luke to ask for a culinary, only to be met with a squawk of uproarious laughter. No customer of his will defile the cheeseburger by eating it with anything other than their bare hands. Sure, okay, Luke. Luke steps from behind the counter and makes a demonstration with one of the spare burgers. A horrifying new fact that Luke is revealed. He does not chew. He opens his mouth wider than even a snake could, and shoves it all in. It happens so fast that you begin to doubt that the hamburger was ever really there at all. But for the way he licks his fingers clean of grease before moving on to the next and the next, you realize your mistake all too late. The lion's share of leftover food has been for the griffin all along, and he's ready to eat all of it without batting an eye. He stares just twice. No, he stops just twice. And only one hamburger before he stuffed himself with more meat than a Thanksgiving turducken. Wants to offer a plate to Asterion, who stutters, explaining that he doesn't eat beef, and another time to clap one on the back, leaving an oily imprint on the shirt. Still, Luke's enthusiasm is infectious enough to carry the day once hunger overpowers apprehension. The tension breaks and the conversation resumes, interrupted only by the occasional satisfied belch. Or one of the diners lapses into a food coma. Some of the guests sit at the bar, close enough to each other to shout over the music blasting through from the speakers. Others sit at the large and round table, sharing conversation with each other. Laughter skitters around, a whisper and chit-chat hum, and drown out the kitchen's noise. They exchange stories and their travels and how they found themselves here in the first place. But every few minutes, you hear whispers and the Minotaur, the dragon, and the griffin. Some guests were more apprehensive than others when they arrived. Seeing a Minotaur as the receptionist was a shock. But Asterion revealed a charisma and levity that captivated their curiosity. At a glance, he knew how to best address each guest. Some required reassurance, others did not think twice about stepping in and asking for a room. At times, he even joked around about his own bullish appearance to break the ice. In turn, the guests' indiscreet glances and hushed whispers didn't even make Asterion flinch. It was as if he did not notice them at all. But now, over dinner, the guests talk amongst themselves. It does not cross their mind how peculiar it is that they all speak the same language in the hotel, in the middle of nowhere. Though a number of them approach to offer you a word of thanks, the guests' high spirits are compliment enough. A testament to your hard work in refurbishing the hotel with Asterion. And yet, from just out of sight, you hear the clanging of washing dishes. So far, the Minotaur has spent the entire dinner hidden away in the kitchen. You still remember his laughter from this morning. Asterion hadn't been this lively before. Meeting the guests was a more joyous occasion than leaving the cold room by far. You can't abide him hiding away in the back room while everyone's having fun. And so, you make your way into the kitchen. Since Asterion has been cooking your meals for the last few days, you had no reason to return to the kitchen since you first arrived at the hotel. Tonight you find it looks nothing like it was like what you first encountered. The silence, a horrible stench, strewn utensils, that's what that is, stains of food that had decomposed decades ago, and of course, the revolver sitting on the counter has all been replaced. Now clean, stainless equipment, the sounds of Luke washing dishes, and the scent of the delicious food he had cooked filled the room. Must be the hearth's handiwork. you think to yourself. But would the hearth alone have brought all these people together? You rejoice in a small moment of pride, seeing and smelling what you've achieved. The Minotaur and the manager are chatting while cleaning the dishes. They don't have your They don't hear your approaching footsteps. Luke veers on a short rant about what happened earlier in the morning, but Asterion changes the subject before picking up a pile of clean dishes. Now on the way to the cupboard, he briefly passes by the door to the cold room. He freezes, shudders, and lets out a nervous cough. After stashing the dishes, Asterion turns around, and only then does he notice your presence. Asterion!
Yes.
Would you like to spend a few minutes with the guests? You've been here all night.
Ah, you shouldn't worry about me. It is fine. The guest's comfort comes first. This is my duty, after all.
But everyone's had their meal already. They are just chatting now. You could sit back and enjoy the company for a while. The Minotaur paces around and over your shoulder, getting a glimpse of all of the commotion in the other room. His ear flicks to catch their voices, and he bites his lower lip to contain a smile.
Ah, you are kind, but I shouldn't leave Luke here to wash the dishes by himself.
Luke laughs loudly at Asterion's remark.
Angus, shut the fuck up. It's just a bunch of dishes. I can handle this.
Thank you, Luke, but
Luke turns and slaps Asterion's ass with a soapy talon, leaving a small wet handprint and a little bit of foam on the Minotaur's behind.
I insist. Go have fun.
Asterion looks a little embarrassed as he wipes Luke's handiwork, but only for a moment.
Very well. If Master insists, then, regretfully, I must obey. But would you allow me a few minutes to have dinner first?
You both look away from Luke, and he leaves him to his task. You haven't eaten? That's all right. Of course you can have dinner. But you could bring your food to a table and eat with the others. It's up to you. I know you prefer eating alone, but if you take too long, the guests might return to their rooms.
Now that is quite the conundrum. Master Josh. How improper of me would it be to eat alongside others? However, it would be even more uncouth to hide away. Very well. You have persuaded me.
Excellent. Dinner it is. Now, what do you say we take it one step further and have a drink? It's a special night. The hotel's reopening. It's not, let's not mince words. Wouldn't you say the occasion calls for some wine? He takes a pair of glasses from the cupboard before you finish speaking.
You will never find me rejecting a drink. However, I will say, tonight you are revealing quite the honeyed tongue. It is not often I let myself be persuaded into such daunting tasks.
What can I say? I am supposed to put you to work, right? I'm only fulfilling my duty. Asterion takes his plate and bottle of wine.
What a...
Poyous? Poyous. Yes.
Pious.
Pious. Whoops. Making a hypocritical display of virtue. Huh. Okay. Sincere, but unlikely to be fulfilled. Oh. Okay. No.
The gods would be hard-pressed to find another master as loyal as you.
With food and drink in hand, the two of you return to the lounge. Heads turn in your direction, and chatter dies down as Asterion's presence makes the guests lose their train of thought. The two of you take your seats at the end of the table, close enough to be invited to the hitchhiking couple, but not close enough to force them to talk. The Minotaur wastes no time in pouring a bountiful glass of wine, first for you and then himself. What a gentleman. Cheers to the hotel.
To our most magnanimous Lord, yes.
To our hard-working, unrelenting keeper.
To Emperor Josh, may his reign be everlasting.
Now you are just having fun.
I might. Is that something Master disapproves of?
I wouldn't be going along with it if I did. Asterion downs his wine. His Adam's apple bobs with each of his gulps until his glass only has a transparent film of purple. He takes a good look at it and swishes the final drop of wine before refilling it.
Am I overstepping boundaries? Today has been such a lovely day. Such a lovely day. But I admit, I've been forgetting my place.
You don't have to be so formal. It's fine. What's wrong with cracking a joke?
Perhaps this is nothing harmful, but some would say breaking hierarchy is always reprehensible. Yeah, whatever. It is not often I have allowed myself to speak in such a manner with a master. The Lord and I did not have to interact so much.
Really? With you and I sharing the same living space, I'd expect it to be quite a close relationship.
Master would Master allow me to speak my mind?
You don't have to ask.
Very well. Let us not talk about masters of old. We have a joyful night ahead of us, and I hope for many more to come. Plus, for what little I gather, it seems the world has changed so much over the last few decades. Not only the world, people as well.
Yes, that's right. We have a lot of new technology, and maybe we, the people, have changed as well. I didn't tell you about the internet, did I?
I'm afraid you didn't. At least, I don't recognize the name.
Oh, the internet is one of the most life-changing technologies of the 20th century. It's really impressive when you think about it. Are you familiar with the radio?
Yes, getting it to work here was a challenge, but it was worth it. All the songs.
With a radio, you can listen to what people are sending from a distance. The internet is like that, but much more powerful. You can connect a machine to it, and it allows you to receive and send information. Isn't that great?
What do you mean by information?
Well, knowledge, for example. You can send and receive messages in seconds. It's so fast. It takes weeks for a letter to arrive at its destination, but with the internet, it takes seconds. But it can do so much more. You can get books, see images, listen to songs, even watch movies in seconds. You had to wait for books to arrive at the hotel, right? With the internet, you can just pick the one you want and start reading it on the machine in seconds. And unlike the radio, you can make your own stuff and send it to the web for other people to enjoy. Nowadays, we even have what we call 3D printers. You can, let's say, find the information of a bracelet and print it out with the machine. Say, do you like art? Did the hotel ever have some sort of museum?
I'm afraid we're seldom graced with many works of art over the years. Here and there, a master would favor an artist and become his patron, but they did not mean the works stayed here. They were often sold. What we do have is what guests left behind as tokens of gratitude, for the most part.
Would you say you like it? Have you ever had the curiosity to see what's behind what's being produced?
Certainly, I am. If I'm being honest, I've always had the curiosity to know how the world outside is doing. We talked about Notre Dame, yes. I've heard so many stories of it, and so many other places. If I could only see these works of art I've heard so much about for a single day.
You'll have that wish granted then. If you like art, then it'll be your dream come true.
Excuse me, but what?
Yeah, you want to see how the world outside is doing, right? See art, the cities, the countries. The internet is great for that. In centuries past, the only way to witness art yourself would be traveling, either to a church or a wealthy patron's estate. As you may imagine, just journeying anywhere was an expensive, time-consuming, and often dangerous affair. But with the internet, you can see pictures, watch videos, and listen to songs almost instantly. Nowadays, there are museums that are entirety of their collections available online for free. If we are connected, we are only a few minutes away from witnessing whatever work of art we want to. As you speak, you can't help but notice Asterion shifting around. His ears flicker and twitch. His gaze soon locks on you and follows yours, as if enraptured. His tail, too, flicks back and forth, as if electrified. The Minotaur's mouth hangs open as he struggles for words.
That sounds delightful. Ah, Master. This internet thing, it sounds as if I could witness the whole world from what you are telling me.
You kinda can. To be fair, there's a couple unique magic to seeing a... There's still a unique magic to seeing a work of art personally. Seeing a picture of a work and the real thing will always be different. The brushstrokes, for instance, that's not conveyed too well in a picture. There's a sense of awe in seeing an impressive painting yourself. Regardless, the internet has largely made culture free and openly available. Now, even if a painting is destroyed, let's say burned in a fire, it may still be preserved forever as information for generations to come. As well-intentioned as he may have been, the Minotaur seems lost in the maze of his own mind, and the ideas skulking about in his head don't seem all that enjoyable. He bites his lips and swishes his tail, and from the tension of his arm, you can guess he is digging his nails into his knees. Is something the matter? You seem a bit distressed. He jolts back to reality with an undignified snort, but still his lips remain sealed.
Master, it is out of place for me to make a request, but nevertheless, would you teach me how to use this internet?
Yo, I don't even know. You don't have to be so serious. Of course I'll teach you. Then you can see everything you want. You could see the world without leaving the hotel.
The internet does sound exciting, my lord, but how do we bring it here? How does it work?
Good question. You mentioned the hotel used to get radio signals, right? How was that accomplished back then? If we can get a radio signal here, then surely we can find a way to connect to the internet.
It was challenging. Although a straightforward affair, we repurposed an old piece of equipment. It's an old thing, dating back to when the realm was created. The masters used it to communicate with the outside world. Before radio, we used to send and receive letters. But before that, as a dock of sorts, we have repurposed it for a number of tasks over the centuries.
Oh, that's interesting. What machine is it? What is this machinery like? How does it work?
It's not a machine. It's more of a thing the gods left behind. perhaps not realizing how extensively it could be repurposed. If this internet is anything like radio, then I am hopeful it can be done.
Just a few feet from you, the Middle Eastern lads burst out in laughter, one of them shrieking back, ashamed. It would seem there is some sort of in-joke among them. I'm gonna end the part here. All right, guys. I'll see you around.